News Channel 5 network and millions of conversations. This is one of millions of conversations.
Right on it. So yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So, welcome to the Millions of Conversations show. I'm your host, Summer Ali. And joining me today in conversation is the Waverly Junior High School principal, Clayton Callicott. Principal Callicott, thank you so much for joining us.
It is an honor to be here. Thank you very much.
We're really excited you're here.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we're very grateful.
So I haven't caught up with you in a bit. It's been about a year, I want to say, since I was touring with you, walking the high school that you're in, the junior high school that you're in temporarily.
Yes, ma'am.
What's the past year been like? How are the renovations going?
Thank you for asking. It's been really, really good. Our kids have adapted. And of course, we're raising the most resilient generation that will ever come through Humphreys County. To be able to go through COVID and then go through the flood, the families and the children there, we talk about it all the time. They're just extremely resilient. That's their normality, is that they come to school. We're in the old Acme boot factory in town. We literally just took the shell and converted it. And so this past year has been really stable because everything has finally settled. So from an education standpoint, social, emotionally, things are a lot better.
So, you know, I think I shared, I was there that day that the flood happened.
Yes.
And, well, it was a rain bomb that opened up and just dumped all over.
Right.
It was tragic.
Right.
And can you tell us a little bit about that moment from your perspective and what the past few years have been like?
Yeah. So it's emotional, but at the same time, it's become part of our history now.
Right.
In that, you know, we had a record setting on August 21st, 2021, on a Saturday, mind you, and praise God for that, that we had over 19 inches of rain that came through. And just the way that it all funneled down in town with the creek that runs through town, it was mass destruction, 16 inches within an hour. We knew the flood was coming, and so administrators and teachers and certain people had come into town early that morning and got caught in the total chaos. And so the old Waverly Elementary School, Waverly Junior High, 8 feet all the way up in the ceiling, just total mass destruction.
What were you feeling and thinking when you walked into the building?
So nobody can prepare for it, you know, any natural disaster. And you just, you know, as far as educators deal with disasters every day, per se. So some of the best people to be around anytime there's a disaster is public school teachers, because they're used to that type of change. But nobody was prepared for that. Nobody in town was prepared for that. Our main focus were people's lives. After the aftermath, once we were able to go back into school, all the memories and the history and the forefathers and the ladies that had come before you and the men that had come before you, and of course it educated the whole town. And so that was really, really heavy.
I still get tears in my eyes every time I drive past the playground.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and think, so what's going to happen with that site?
So, good question. Fortunately, we have some really good leadership, people that have reached out, people like yourself and your organization, Millions Conversations, that have poured into our community. We're finally getting back up on our feet. Now, a lot of times the disaster happens and you don't know and you don't have resources. Well, part of those resources is people, because they have to have a place to leave. And you lose that resource, it's just very, very difficult. So people like yourself that pour into our kids and pour into the families, we're able to rebuild and put things together. The old site of the Waverly Elementary School and Waverly Junior High is going to become a city park. It's going to become a memorial park, so people can come visit and still share that. It won't become a development or anything like that. We are building a new school. It's a $71 million facility.
Okay.
Yay!
Congratulations.
Sorry,
awesome.
I'm shifting real quick, but and it's going over towards Left-Bone Funeral Home is where it's going.
Okay.
It's going to be up on the hill. It's 46 acres.
Wow, 46 acres.
Yes, ma'am. State of the art. It is going to be the greatest building in the county once it's built.
That's so exciting. So in the meantime, what are some of the things that you all have been doing? I know we were involved in the computer lab.
Yes, thank you. So with your donation and just support, it was a huge lift for our school. We were able to purchase 90 Microsoft books similar to a Chromebook and carts, but at our school there's no windows. So it's a boot plant. So Our classrooms are 520 square feet. It's drywall, and anybody that's been in public education knows that drywall is not meant for public education.
Yeah.
But that's all our children know. So our windows to the world were through those devices. And so with that donation, those devices, we can give the world to our kids just by being in that building.
Well, I remember walking around with you and just really being inspired by the spirit and the community that I was feeling as I was walking through the boot factory, which you're using and you're still using, right, for another few years?
Much, 2.5 more years, yes.
For 2.5 more years, and just the happiness and the
very
joy that was
very humble, very grateful just to have a place to educate our children.
Yeah.
And we went during that flood time, and to go back to your question, we were we put our 4th and 5th grade students on buses every day, bused them 22 minutes to Lakeview School. We were in hallways, gymnasiums, closets, just trying to educate our children. Grades 6, 7, and 8, they went to Waverly Central High School. So you can imagine what that was like.
Yeah.
And junior high kids don't do well in a high school setting just by the age, but they did great. The high school administration, everybody involved welcomed us with open arms because we had nowhere to go. The elementary kids had to go to McEwen School, and then Nashville State Community College. They opened their college up.
For the elementary school?
Second grade, spent their entire year there.
In the Nashville community?
Yes.
I had no idea.
Yes. So just imagine that's our kids. That was their school experience. No playgrounds, no normal cafeteria experience, no normal gymnasium experience, and so you have to learn to adapt. And so we have the greatest teachers and the greatest kids in our community.
Yeah.
You could not have a better group of people to educate our kids. And so what happens is you just learn to be creative and give the kids everything you can. And the best thing is the kids recognize that, and so they're very humble. That generation is very humble, very grateful. So any gift that they receive, they're overly grateful about it.
Well, if I can ask you a personal question on leadership, because one of the things that the impression that you left with me was your leadership, and also the way in which, when we were walking those hallways, kids were wanting to come up to you and engage with you, and teachers as well. I mean, you're really beloved in that school. What if you had to? I know I'm embarrassing you, but if you had to give somebody a mentorship tip or a leadership tip, what would it be?
That's a great question, and thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it. To be a servant's heart and to serve and not be served. And I think leadership, a lot of times we get that out of whack to where we are the ones that should be behind the line and basically pushing and helping all the time instead of the one that's being served. More importantly, though, the root of education is love. And without love, nothing else matters. And so at the root of that is how much do you truly, kids don't care where you've been or who you are, how old you are, they don't care anything about you. All they want to know is how much do you love me. And once they figure out how much that you love them, then you can educate them, then you can lead them, then you can help push them.
That's beautiful.
But I had a lot of great people pour into my life when they didn't have to. And so that's deep rooted in people that sacrificed and gave they didn't have to for my life. But thank you for asking.
Yeah, and so I think that must be what's going into the adaptability as well, because they feel that confidence that we can do this, and
together.
we're not alone.
Well, every child has a special set of gifts and talents to offer to the world.
That's amazing.
That may not be what is necessarily a cookie cutter on a standardized test or a specific area. They have a talent and a gift, and it's our job as educators to help them find that talent and gift and then maximize it and show them the world to where they can go be things they never thought they would be. And you think of people like yourself that come from small towns of Waverly and all these other places in state Tennessee, giving them that opportunity. They already have the work ethic, the foundation. You have families that want to give them the world, and then giving them the opportunity where they can go have it.
That's pretty amazing. Yeah. So I want to talk a little bit about the computer lab as well, if I can. So
yes, please.
What kinds of partnerships do you think would be helpful there? One of the things that surfaced for me as well was somebody who was saying, wouldn't it be great if we could have a coding club?
Yes.
And also, and then something that came to my mind was does Waverly have a partnership with the Nashville Adventure Science Center?
So currently no, but that's a great idea in that, when you come to our school, you see a 520 square foot room with a concrete floor, and we had to convert to tables because you can only put 26 desks in that capacity and you can't move. So we converted the whole school to tables and more of learning centers than traditional desks, so we could have room for the kids to move around. We were very fortunate through the program to be able to purchase a coding program that we were using with the robotics club, that we were able to purchase robots and program in these robots where these kids could learn to code immediately with the devices that you provided through your organization. So we were able to purchase 90 devices and 3 carts. We use those heavily in the upper grades. And we are not a one-to-one school. We're working towards becoming a one-to-one device school. There's pluses and minuses behind that. And
Tell us about the pluses and minuses, because this is something that we are constantly engaging in conversation around.
It's a great conversation. I'd encourage you to have with all different types of people from educational background. So our kids are growing up in that world to where a lot of times they struggle with interactions just from personally being able to interact with people because they're so locked in on a device. So we try to push our kids away from that, but at the same time, to be able to get a foundation education from a resource standpoint, they have to have the device. And so through the devices that you purchase, we're able to bring in, take for instance, the state has a mandate for a computer science program. All 8th graders must have a minimum of specific hours every year before they go to high school. So by having your devices, we could implement that program. Our math teacher gave up his planning period. Each child had a 45-day rotation. We were able to use your devices, then use them to teach them how to code within that program. So we had used the Kira Learning Program, which is an AI-generated program, and then be able to incorporate all those other type of things.
That's amazing. Okay. Well, thank you so much, and I'm really enjoying this conversation here, and we are going to be coming back after the break and talking about what's next for Waverly Junior High School. Thank you. Welcome back to the Millions of Conversations show. I'm here with Principal Callicott from the Waverly Junior High School, who's been talking to me about the remarkable recovery that the Waverly community has been coming together and doing over the past, it's going to be 4 years in August.
That's right. Yes,
this summer, 4 years, yes. And so you were telling me a little bit about what y'all have been through over the past 4 years, where you are right now. And a little bit about that future, about 41 acres of the new junior high that's going to be the best in the, hopefully the best in the county. But what do you, I get asked this all the time by people who knew what happened in Waverly and the flood that's happened, and that is, how can we help? People are asking that all the time, and we talked a little bit about like the partnership idea that I had with the our Adventure Science Center, but that's just one of many. That's a wonderful idea. So what are, well, thank you, but what is, because I love to think about how can Nashville be partnering even more with communities like Waverly and et cetera, but I want to hear from you and less from me about what you think would be helpful.
And first of all, tell them thank you. Just that just shows their heart, that they're looking to pour into kids' lives. So everything we do in education is for kids, and just trying to open those doors of opportunity for them. So for us, we've had 2 years at the factory, and we partner with the elementary school. And so our kids literally march to class. It's almost like military type setting because there's not enough room in the hallways. So when our kids go to lunch, there may be a 3rd grade class coming down the hall, an 8th grade class going to lunch, and a 7th grade class coming with them at the same time. And it's literally, we stick our arms out, we're 3 feet apart, and we go. But that order and structure for them, they're kids, whatever expectations you set in front of them. So we like to set high expectations. With that, we're about 2.5 years away from moving into our new facility.
Are they excited about it?
Oh,
yeah.
Yes. So you're working with FEMA and federal dollars because it is a flood natural disaster project.
Okay.
Very good leadership, but very methodical in the procession on how it works. And so in between that time, we look at what opportunities can we provide until we get to the new facility. To move ahead, though, in the new facility, we're building a STEM lab. And so going along with what you did to help partner. We want to partner with local businesses and our companies that are out on the river, and then anybody from Nashville to open that window, because we have, you know, all types of engineering, public service. That's a big part of our community.
Okay.
Healthcare has been a big part of our community. How do we bring that to our kids, whether it be at the new building or even now?
So is that through like internships? Is it through donations?
Yes.
Is it, and if people want to, so what if people want to donate? What was how? What is?
So we
how do
like
they
to
plug
funnel any type, whether it be material, whether it be financial donations, through our central office for those funds. And not to get too deep into it, you know, our budget obviously is dependent a lot of times on state dollars, and then from a sales tax revenue, you have a flood in your community that destroys the whole central part of your town. Your sales tax revenue is going to drop immediately.
I see.
So in areas where we go shop, you know, in Middle Tennessee areas, we don't receive a lot of those sales tax dollars unless it's online. So that fluctuates. And so at our school, for example, through attrition, we have absorbed 5 teachers and 3 paraprofessionals.
Okay.
Well, that's a person in front of somebody. So the reason is we just can't afford it because of budget purposes. And then you look at our kids at the high school level. What are we doing at the elementary school and junior high level to prepare them for Waverly Central? So not that I would want to send funds there, but there needs to be a completion from K through 12.
Okay.
So that back end for Waverly Central through what we do through CTE, Miss Lori Dell does a really good job.
Yes.
She is a wonderful person. She's trying to pull in everything she can for those opportunities, whether it's a partner with universities, 2-year schools, Nashville State, or the TCAT, the Technical College in Dixon.
Is there almost like a list of things that's on a one-pager that?
Not yet, but we can get it there.
Because I think that would be really helpful too, so that
Yes,
people can
yes.
really understand and see it and visualize that.
Well, and you bring up a good point, because our funds are tied up in federal dollars, so we can't purchase everything that we have at the school has been through donated dollars or borrowed from other counties. So we don't have enough time to the amount of volunteer hours that people have gone to other counties, and the counties that have surrounded us that have poured into our school, the tables, the chairs, the desks, the podiums. We were able to purchase a few things, but it's very limited because we can't tap into those monies until we move up on the hill. And so then we move up on the hill, then you get into the aspect of athletic facilities, the fine arts, our kids with band, instruments, the overall music, just the whole music program. The extracurricular activities have a tendency to take a back seat because you have to put attention where first attention has to be on core education.
And how is that going? How are the standardized test results? Have they?
Very good. Improving drastically. So our numbers at our high school used to average around 125. It dropped off drastically to somewhere around 95 just because families could not afford to stay in Waverly. But now what we're seeing, they have family, they're rooted, they're coming back.
Oh, really?
Because the housing is improving, and of course that takes time.
Right.
But we're starting to see families want to come back to Waverly. Whether they are moving out towards the lake or they want a rural lifestyle, or that's where their family's from and they've been in surrounding areas, and like, I'm finally coming back home. And so we've been able to get a lot of those kids.
That's amazing, and I love that they feel that they're coming back home.
Yes.
And you're helping make it feel exactly like home. Well, thank you so much. We're going to be coming back after the break, and usually I give the homework assignment, but since I have a principal and a teacher sitting right next to me this time, he's going to be coming back after the break and giving us all a homework assignment. Welcome back to the Millions of Conversations show, where I'm having this amazing conversation with Principal Callicott from the Waverly Junior High School that has had this remarkable recovery over the past 4 years and is gearing up to hopefully move to its new location in 2.5 years. But there's still a lot of work to be done over these next 2.5 years. So I was joking right before the break, but I'm actually not joking, and that is I usually give the homework assignment on the show at the very end about after we've listened to a conversation, what we can do about it at home. We like to say, do try this at home. But given that I have a principal and a teacher right here, I'd love for you to tell us, what are your recommendations? What are some things that we can be practicing and doing to help you and the Waverly community right now?
Well, first of all, thank you. Your organization and people that are partnered with you or just interested in your organization are obviously servants at heart. We mentioned
Well,
earlier.
we're inspired by your leadership, and
Well,
we're inspired by your community.
Praise the Lord and thank you very much. I'm just very fortunate to be in a community with people that are that same mindset. So when we look at our needs, they are multiple. And anytime anybody is wanting to pour in or be part of the Waverly community, we just ask them to follow their heart, and that there may be a certain interest or an area in their life where they've been blessed, that they want to bless other people. And so for specific areas of need, obviously we're going to meet that need with a building in the next 2.5 to 3 years for our children. In between that time, what can we do in the building from an educational standpoint, whether it be curriculum, whether it be actual materials, or whether it be individuals.
Sure.
So people that want to come give their time, we have local churches, the Nazarene Church and other churches give their time constantly.
Okay.
We have a lady in our community named Betty Haxton. She was an educator for over 60 years.
Betty,
She literally gives everything she has, shows up at school to serve in any capacity every day.
Okay.
They just come in and say, how can I serve?
So volunteering the time.
We've had people that were athletic minded. We had a lady that gave over 75 basketballs just because she loved basketball. We had people that are athletic minded towards football that donated to that. We've had music people donate instruments. We've had librarians that worked in the school system that gave all of their books to our
That's
library
amazing.
because we didn't have a library.
Right. So what do you feel is the top of your list? If you had things that you could give right now, what would those be?
I would love to be a one-to-one school from a technological standpoint, whether that be in the device
that's
of
the
a
goal.
Chromebook. That would be my number one, because that gives us opportunities to touch the outside world with each individual child.
So what is that number?
That number right now, we have 453 kids, grades 4 through 8, and we have one device per grade, so quick math, I would say roughly around 250 devices.
So 250 more
We've
devices.
We've been working with Miss Lori Dell, who runs our CTE program.
Yes. And tell us what CTE stands for.
Career and Technical Education. But she is our director for the county, so she is in the process of tapping into those type of funds. The next thing would be mentorships, overall partners with local businesses, partners with areas in Nashville for our kids that when they're juniors and seniors at the high school, or even an 8th grade group, can they come take a tour of the facility? Can they be introduced to engineering, to the healthcare field, to overall just business, those type of things, to where we'd happily put them on a school bus, let them come partner and be part, and just pour into those kids at their area of need.
Well, I'll tell you what, you have made me excited about this, about this homework assignment. I'm going to do it. And also, one of the things that I am really going to be taking away from our conversation today, there are many things, but the thing that really touched me so much was that part you said about love. And how if we can focus there, the rest falls into place.
That's where it starts. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for letting us be a part of it, for what you do for our school and our kids and community.
Thank you. This is amazing.